Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, a little after 7:30. I have my coffee here. My name is Dustin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for being here. Lovely people already here. We have Evelyn is here. Good morning, Evelyn. Thank you so much for being here. Mr. Gugahan, thank you so very much for being here. And Mr. Foltz, cheers. Thank you for being here. All right. Yes. This is my first sip of coffee here. You're watching it. Mm, mm, that is delicious. So, I wanted to jump right into kind of the topic at hand today. So, this is called the human element, and then there's expectations on the thumbnail. So, I did a live yesterday with a woman named Brandy, and I got a little bit of feedback that there was too many bad words in that interview. Now, I do my best to keep this channel, everything PG, because I know that there are people out there who don't necessarily want to sit around and, listen to that kind of stuff too terribly often. But at the same time, when I'm having somebody on, I want them to be them. I don't tell people, please no bad words. I don't tell people that. I want them to come in and I want them to be who they are, and I want them to be transparent because I'm transparent. So off camera, I have a potty mouth. I mean, if you're in hanging out with me in a normal setting, chances are that's going to be the way that it is. Um, I understand, I know that I have my cousin and her kids watch sometimes. Various people in my family may watch this, and that's not necessarily why, but I kind of just want to be more inclusive because I understand that a lot of cuss words and all that stuff, and keeping things PG is a better way for me to be the lighthouse that I want to be. I want to be the beacon and be a place that everybody can join in. That being said, again, as I said, having a guest on that uses the language that they choose to use, while not always ideal, I'm not going to tell someone to not be who they are. So, anyway, yes. Danny is here. Good morning. He said he did not forget this morning. I truly appreciate you, Danny, so very much. He said that um he said that he didn't get a chance to watch my live yesterday. He'll watch after this. And that's what I was talking about yesterday's live. And Evelyn is asking, more inclusive? I don't know. I just want to be a place for everyone. Anyone and everyone who's looking to better themselves, and as I said before, it doesn't matter to me if you're carnivore, ketovore, I don't even care if you're vegan, Weight Watchers, I don't care. Chances are someone's not going to land on my page if they're doing something or they're not keto, or unless they're coming here to troll or whatever, but come and hang out, talk with us. That's what I mean, you know. Mm. I do love my coffee. But yes, always trying to be more inclusive. I know that the word inclusive these days gets thrown around, but I truly want everybody to be here who was trying to better themselves and, you know, get healthy any way that they can, any way that's sustainable for them, any way that they can find consistency. Because if you can't find consistency through keto, but you can do that through Weight Watchers, then by all means do what you've got to do, you know. Let's see. Yeah, so John says he caught the very end of the live yesterday. We'll have to go back and catch the replay. Yeah. Now, I mean, and so she is somebody that I have found and have followed on Instagram, and understanding who somebody is, I knew that she, um, you know, obviously I choose people based on, their ability, what they've done with themselves and how they've benefited themselves and have a different perspective than what we're used to. So for me, having her on was important. She also was somebody who used to use like ketones and sold ketones, and those are kind of a thing that like it's like kind of a taboo, situation in our community, and it's definitely something that she felt like it wasn't necessarily for her. I think she uses another product now, but she didn't really try to use my platform to sell her product, which that I was thankful of. I thought she was very respectful. She did talk about her products that she uses because that's what we're here for. What do you do? How have you bettered yourself? You know, so that's what I want. You know, and and I understand that there's going to be guests on my show that people don't agree with or won't care to watch, and that's fine too. Um, I mean, it really comes down to what do I think is beneficial to the channel as well as interesting for me because I don't want to just be, an echo chamber also. So I don't also want to be a channel that just has the same 15 people on it that's on everybody else's channel, and I want to bring new people in and fresh perspectives, and everybody has their own life they've lived and and are continuing to live, so you know and John says that he likes how I interview people that he wouldn't normally see. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I'm showcasing not just the same old people because, I know that that happens a lot and you can kind of see that in different communities where you just kind of see the same people bouncing back and forth. And I'm totally into that because there's interesting things about all of the people that do that as well that I want to talk with. And as well as people outside of the community, whether they're friends of mine that are doing things. Because last week I had a friend on, we've been friends, acquaintances for a very long time, and he's trying his hand at being a health coach, or not a health coach, a life coach. So I wanted to showcase that he's grown and who he is, and he's trying to be better, and that's what we want, right? That's Yeah, and I'm always going to try to, am I going to have people on that don't that the interviews go poorly? Probably. That's bound to happen as the law of large numbers. That's bound to happen eventually. Now, I don't have anybody booked for next Saturday or the Saturday after. I don't have anybody booked for the foreseeable future as I'm working trying to get a job and such, so I don't want to kind of paint myself into a corner. So there may be a couple of weeks where we don't have anybody on Saturdays, or just till I can see what's going on. And I do have Jen Delaney and Brian scheduled for the future, sometime in the future, just whenever their schedules align and we can get them on. So, you know, um, the posting, everything's still open for me. I just haven't had a chance to talk with anybody there, so I don't know. I'm probably going to be looking to apply elsewhere if I don't hear from them, and I'm going to be reaching out to them again. So I'm just looking for something part time, hopefully something that pays enough to make it worth my time going in, and I don't feel like I'm losing money going in. Does that make sense? Um, because it's going to make everything that I do more difficult on this side of things, whether it's keeping, the house things and the girl and make things tighter and schedules. So it's got to be, all that fun stuff. But we want to go on vacations and we want to go do things and we want to do stuff. And, you know, that'll be what we do. So, yes. So Let's see what's going on with me. Mm. So Evelyn's saying she's gonna be looking for a summer job as school's letting out. So you don't just take 3 months off? I know our school district, they don't get 3 months for summer. I think they get out the last day, like the last day of May is their last day, and then I think they go back at the last day of July, if I'm not mistaken. I think they go back right before July ends. But it's a balanced calendar. So they have so when they go back in the summer, when they go back at the end of summer or the fall, then they have a fall break in October for 2 weeks, a winter break in December for 2 weeks, and then a spring break in like March, April for 2 weeks. So they have 6 weeks off during the calendar year. So that actually works out well. It makes it easier to go on like a family vacation. We try to get everybody together and we go what we can go away for a week and a half versus just a week. So that makes it a little bit better. Hey yo, Heath is here. Good to see you, sir. I hope you and Shelly are doing well. I imagine she's still asleep, which I can't blame her. Every day, like every Sunday I get up, I'm like, I could just crawl back in bed. Because I get up with Chandra and get her out the door, and I have like about an hour to get, to kind of get acclimated, get my coffee together, and I could be just laying back down myself. But I I would miss you guys if I didn't do that. And I was like, you know what? I need to hang out with you. You guys are my almost one of my favorite part of the week. My nose is itchy. I wish it's nowhere near 3 months. We get a full 2 weeks off even at Christmas. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, we never get a full 2 weeks off even at Christmas. Well, I mean, for spring break this year, they got 2 weeks in a day. So they went so our girl only goes 3 days a week. So she didn't go back till like sure she had like 2 weeks and 2 days. But our school district, I guess they planned for the eclipse. And I mean, the teachers were in school. There was like a teacher like grading day or whatever. They have a teacher in school day, but no students. So um, you know, I like the idea that there's like 2 weeks at Christmas time and depending on how all that falls, it may be 2 weeks in a day or whatever. And spring break is nice. You have 2 weeks to make sure you can get out and do what you got to do. John says he's excited to be making taco salad today. I haven't had one in a very, very long time. I enjoyed like taco salads and such. So a couple of weeks ago, we had family dinner and I made walking tacos. So for most of the kids, I had bought just regular Doritos. Bought them Doritos because high-low chips are too expensive and they don't have the big bags at Costco anymore. So I had to buy two small bags for me. So just two small bags of the nacho high-low chips. And I crumbled those up in a bowl and put my meat and my sauce and like sour cream and cheese and all that stuff in there. And that's basically what I made for myself. And then the kids use Doritos and whatnot. Well, yeah, that's what we used. It's really good because I made my mom. So like a little story, like my mom used to make taco salad and she would make enough for basically an army and she would invite the whole family over. She would invite everybody over. We would spend all day getting ready. We would get government cheese, the big blocks of government cheese back when they would send it to you in a block. It wasn't like a coupon and you go buy what cheese you want. It was, you picked up this big block of cheese and we would cut it and I would sit there and grate it for what seemed like hours, just toiling away grating cheese. You would cut your fingers on it. Just it was definitely an experience. And she would get lettuce and tomatoes and all the sauce and she would send people home with so much because she would have like gallon buckets of like the chili sauce or whatever, like the taco meat and all that stuff. and we would just have people come over, and so taco salad is kind of one of those nostalgia things for me, like one of those things like I miss because my mom would do it, and grandma would come over, and aunts and uncles would come over, and friends would come over, and I was a kid, and that was one of my favorite things as a kid, is having company. And it kind of feels like anymore there's just not that. Like, company is just something that we don't have. And I don't know. And especially, like, the before times were just the same, really. Um, Now we're in the after times, and it seems like even more isolated. But I mean, like, Shander's brother stopped by yesterday and hung out with me for about 15, 20 minutes. That was nice. We don't see him very often. He just lives only this side of town, but he's busy, just like we're all busy. Um, but just it's just those kinds of things, and the memory that that I miss, that I truly, truly miss. So Evelyn says that they made Big Mac salads this week. It's been a minute since we made them. So good. That sounds good. Basically, like hamburger, like big burger in a bowl. Sounds good. Sounds good. I was never a fan of Big Mac. I didn't like the Big Mac sauce, and I didn't like lettuce. Never liked lettuce on my burgers. Now I'll tell you, I did have the only times I've ever really had lettuce on my burger is when I would go to In-N-Out Burger, which is 1,000 miles from me. So whenever I was in Dallas, in the Texas, the central, the Dallas area, I would go and get In-N-Out Burger, and I would get get like the double double or the triple or whatever, a 4x4, protein style. They wrap it in this thick thing of lettuce, and you just chomp on it. It's so that's the only time I've ever really had lettuce with my burgers. Um, and it's not that I'm against it. It's just never been like, there's just a weird flavor to me with lettuce. Like, I'm just not a big fan of the flavor of lettuce. But yeah, so I'd always get like my Big Mac's plain. So basically getting a double cheeseburger with an extra piece of bun in the middle. So Brian is here. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing, sir? Have you noticed any changes? Anything going different for you? Let's so I wasn't crazy about the special sauce either. More of a Whopper guy. Yeah, we would always get Whoppers, but I was always irritated with that Burger King would charge you, like, you'd get like a triple cheeseburger and they put one slice of cheese on it. You'd have to ask for extra cheese and they just charge you more for it. So that was always the thing about Burger King that drove me nuts. But I like Burger King. Oh, my nose is so itchy today. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something, Heath. I don't think I ever had Whataburger until I've been to Texas a bunch of times. Um, I have sisters that live down there and a friend that is living there, but I think he might be moving to Vegas. So I've got a friend, and he, I'm, we became friends when he lived here in Central Indiana, and then he and his dad moved to Texas like 20 some years ago, and we've kept in touch throughout the years. And so he had me come visit him. I went and visited him because he kind of got sick at one point. So I went down and visited him, and then he got better. And then I went down and visited him again. He was getting married. I was there for the wedding, and I've been to visit him a few other times since then. And then in the last 2 years, he's been now he had a divorce from that person, got married again. They were married for maybe a year, and he was unmarried for like a month after the divorce was final. They basically got married within the month, and then after this divorce was final, he got divorced with this new woman, and they were divorced not even a month, and now he was in Vegas and got married to somebody new. So he is wild and crazy, and I don't know really. So I think he's going to be moving to Vegas to be with this new wife. So I don't really know what's going on, but that's kind of what goes on in my neck of the woods with some people that I know that are outside of everything. But He's crazy. I love him, but he does drive me absolutely bonkers. But anyway, Heath, I'd been to Texas a bunch. It was a long-winded way of saying I'd been to Texas quite a few times. Had not had Whataburger while I was in Texas, and I didn't have Whataburger until we were in Alabama. We were in Gulf Shores, and there was a Whataburger on the way back. As you're driving from Gulf Shores towards the interstate, you got to drive about 45 minutes up north to hit the interstate. I think you hit I-10 or something like that. I think it's, yeah, I think it might be I-10. I can't remember. Um, which will take you right into Texas or whatever, right? Um, but yeah, and I really enjoy Whataburger. Now, Whataburger and In-N-Out are very different burgers. I like them both. But I've been a fan of Whataburger for a very long time. I didn't have my first, or I should say, I've been a fan of In-N-Out for a very long time. I had my first In-N-Out burger in 2006 when we went to Vegas, and then we were in California, and we had In-N-Out while we were in California. And then every time I've gone to Vegas since, I've gone to In-N-Out, and then Dallas had In-N-Out, so I get it there. And now you can get it in Colorado. And last time we were in Colorado, I had it, but I had Whataburger too because they have Whataburger, and I like both of them. I really do like both. So I know that it's Goody Beats made a video the other day. Logan Delgado, he has been on my interview or on my Sunday show as well. He says the holy trinity of Texas is Whataburger, HEB, and Buc-ee's. I don't know. How do you think about that, Heath? Is that the holy trinity? Whataburger, HEB, and Buc-ee's. Is that the holy trinity of Texas? Let me know. Let me know what you think. So he said he's doing well, but nothing on the weight loss front. Well, I mean, but you haven't gained or anything like that, or anything. You know what I mean? I just worry about you. Um, I have a bunch of videos coming. We recorded last week. We recorded about 7 review videos, Shannon and I. I just have to sit down and edit them. Oh, sitting down and editing them um, is going to be the issue. I've been working on some information. So, and I'll talk about it here just because I haven't had a chance to make a full video about it or anything yet. But Keto Chow sent me these. They're limited edition. They brought back the fan favorites. We've got butterscotch. Everyone loves butterscotch. Butterscotch is one of my favorites. I like drinking butterscotch warm. I don't know. Have you guys tried Keto Chow warm? You mix up the hot water and the butter and you mix it in and just drink it as it's just let it sit for a couple of minutes and drink it warm. Have any of you Is that something you guys are interested in? Now, my understanding is that these are all limited edition flavors. The butterscotch is going to be available in the single packets like this, as well as the 21 serving bags for a limited time. So, as long as they have them available, you're more than welcome to order those, but they are limited. They're not now permanent flavors. Um, so, the other one that is in a big bag is orange cream. So orange cream is in a big bag as well. So you can get them in single size as well as big bags. And then they've brought back the chocolate malt, which I made into a creamy, didn't make a video about, wasn't the biggest fan of. But again, like I've told people that the malt is kind of one of those flavors as far as my opinion or my way I look at it. The malt flavor is something that kind of was a generation before us. The malt shops going to get a chocolate malt. That was something that we didn't do. So I remember working at Steak and Shake as my first job, and we had malt flavor that would go into, we had like malt powder, I think it was, that would go into the chocolate shakes if somebody ordered a chocolate malt. But just regular chocolate shake is what people would order. They wouldn't order a chocolate malt very often. And if they did, they were typically older people. And I'm not trying to say that as a derogatory, but I was just my experience and what my experience is really, is what I would say. So it was just something that I just never tried. There was a weird flavor. I love Whoppers, like the malted milk balls or whatever. Those were delicious, but I didn't think this tasted like that too much. And then one of my favorite all-time favorite flavors is birthday cake. I love birthday cake. That's what it was, the flavor that when Keto Chow when released it was the first flavor that I really truly enjoyed from Keto Chow. Is we had a tumultuous start, Keto Chow and us. As the first few flavors we tried, we were kind of like, maybe it wasn't a company that we were going to work with or whatever. But when they released birthday cake, and then they've released the vanilla cream, the strawberry cream, and there's been the butterscotch. There's been a whole slew of flavors that have come out since I've been reviewing them, and since Shannon and I have been reviewing them, that have really hit home with us. And birthday cake is one of my favorites. So I'm excited that this is back. I hope this becomes a permanent flavor, at least at some point. So these are all available. I have links in the description if you want to purchase them from me, but you're more than welcome to go onto their website on your own and buy them as well. So they're fan favorites. I'm sure, because I remember when butterscotch came out, that was around the time of KPL last year, and KPL, everybody basically was buying them, and they basically sold more than they brought. They brought what they thought was enough butterscotch to KPL. All of that sold out, and then they were selling enough that had to be shipped to people after KPL. So be on the lookout. So get it while you can, because there's also the fruity cereal available, or fruity cereal, which seems to be a popular flavor. I was in the store the other day, and I was actually sending Chris pictures because there was I don't even know the name of the brand, but they actually had a Fruit Loops branded flavor of protein powder. And then I saw Alani had a shake that's a fruity cereal flavor as well. So it's kind of one of those things that just kind of hit right off the bat. So interesting. So let's see. Jeff's asking Evelyn if she makes her own sauce. Evelyn saying she's never had In-N-Out or Whataburger. I haven't been to Buc-ee's either. Life experiences. I'm losing. There's going to be Buc-ee's. There's a Buc-ee's coming to the Dayton area in Ohio. So Ohio is getting them. Indiana is still without for the time being. Whataburger is making its way north. So I believe there are Whataburgers in southern Kentucky. I know, like the Kentucky-Tennessee border. I know there are Whataburgers there, like Bowling Green area. There's also a Buc-ee's going in there that'll open up sometime this summer. So as my understanding is Whataburger's ownership now has ownership that has like Chicago offices. So I imagine that as they have Chicago offices, we'll probably start to see Whataburgers in Illinois, possibly Indiana, Ohio, and In-N-Out Burger is moving. They're putting an office in Nashville, Tennessee, or in the Nashville area. So I imagine that they will be putting restaurants in Tennessee as well. And the reason why In-N-Out has been slow to expand is they deliver their meat fresh, not frozen. They don't have freezers. So they have to be within a certain distance of a warehouse. And my understanding is then would be if they are putting a warehouse to supply restaurants in Tennessee, we're 5 hours from there, give or take. So I would imagine that we may be slated for an In-N-Out Burger at some point in time or another. But I imagine that when you get an In-N-Out Burger in your area, it's about a 6-month wait before you're not going and spending 3 hours in line. So plan accordingly. I would not wait that long to eat In-N-Out Burger. I really like it, but I'm not waiting in a line for 3 hours. Just not going to do it. But one of the things that I found, though, that does drive me insane is I had Jack in the Box and like Arizona, and I think I've had them in Nashville. I think they had them then years ago, and then we got Jack in the Box here in Central Indiana, and when they came here, they just weren't the same. They weren't as good. So my hope is if we do get Whataburger and we do get In-N-Out Burger, that they don't disappoint because that's something that I've had happen. I was super excited to get Jack in the Box, and then we get it and it's not very good. And maybe it's the vacation syndrome because typically whenever I'm getting so any right now anytime I get Whataburger or In-N-Out Burger, it's I'm on vacation. I'm in Texas visiting family, friends, having a good time, or Whataburger, we're on our way to Alabama or something like that. And I'm excited, I'm having a good time. And I'm like, yeah, this is delicious. But if we get them here, then it may be a little different. But at least we'll have it then because I'm not a big fast food person. I don't get, I mean, I go to McDonald's and get Coke Zeros from time to time. That's an option when I'm out and about to get something. But yeah. So he says, sounds about right. Maybe add Taco Cabana. I've never had Taco Cabana, but I've seen them. I know they're in the Dallas area. I've seen those. Yeah. And John's saying that he hasn't had Whataburger in years. Went to University of New Mexico for a couple of semesters. Used to get Whataburger there. That's over 30 years ago. Yeah, they just got good triple burgers. I know they just got good burgers. They got the spicy ketchup, which is pretty good. Which I'm never a huge fan of ketchup, but sometimes. Okay, so honestly, transparency. Whenever I do go to Whataburger, I'm usually getting the full thing: the bun, the fries, because I'm on vacation and I'm not super duper worried about it because I know I'm not going to be I can't bring Whataburger home and we don't have Whataburger here. So typically I get it maybe once a year, once every other year, depending on where we go for vacation. We go to Alabama, they have them. We go to Colorado, they have them. But that's we didn't see any on the way to Florida. So we didn't get any, but we did stop at Buc-ee's 4 times. So, you have it. So, and Evelyn says she uses the recipe from whatever that says. Apple pie is really good warm, is what John Gugahan says. I just got sugar-free sprinkles to make birthday cake fudge and chaffle cakes. Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess they're opening a Buc-ee's near me in Ocala soon. I know that there's Buc-ee's in Florida, but we were in Kissimmee when we stayed there, and we didn't venture far away from Kissimmee at all. So we didn't see anything like that. And we only saw the two that are in Georgia. So as you're coming like an hour, when you're heading north and you're an hour from Atlanta, you see one. Then about an hour after Atlanta, you see one. Then again, a few hours after that, you're going to run into the one in Kentucky. As soon as you basically cross into Kentucky, get through Bowling Green, there's a Buc-ee's. It's going to be there. So Matreya is here. Good to see you, dear. I hope you're doing good. Let's see. There is also a copycat place called What a Burger. I thought they were in Alabama. I don't know. I mean, I've just found the What a Burgers. I mean, they have the same logo, all the same everything, exact same stuff as normal. I haven't seen any copycats. I do know that during the pandemic, we had a restaurant here called California Burger that opened up, and they had 3-hour lines. And I didn't try them, and I still haven't. I maybe should go give them a try. Um, but it's just like I think they have 2 locations now. It's just like a local place, and I don't know if they're as good as In-N-Out or if they're trying to be In-N-Out. I don't honestly know. But I do know that when they opened up, it was like they had to change the traffic pattern because they were like blocking traffic. So they had to make them go up a side street. So you had to come down a side street to get into the drive through area. because they would you couldn't stop on the street because like yeah, it was just backed up for hours. Ridiculous. I grew up in New Mexico, so many 3 a.m. Whataburger runs. That's the thing is like these days you can't get something at 3 a.m. anymore. I mean, you'd be lucky to find gas stations open a lot of times. Like gas stations aren't even 24 hours a day like they used to be in certain places. Like there was always McDonald's. You could kind of at least there was McDonald's near a highway that you could go. There were certain like I knew that there were like like White Castle was 24 hours. I think they still might be. That was kind of their whole thing. And then like Walmart's and Myers and Kroger's and all the grocery stores were 24 hours. And then, the before times and then now that they're not, it's kind of a depressing feeling knowing that if I needed something at 2 a.m., I have to wait till 7 to go get something. I think it's depressing for me because that was when I would go to the store. I worked nights for a really long time. So like my late teens into my early to my mid 20s, late 20s, I should say. I worked at a warehouse, so I would go get off work midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and then we would go grocery shopping, go sit at Denny's, and we would hang out late at night. And if that were happening, if I worked that job like that now, I would just have to go home and there would be nothing. I'd know nowhere to stop, nothing to get for food. And I'm sure you'd find things, but just one of those things, just like it's just not the same as it used to be. Like I think it's the idea that you can't go that drives me nuts. Like I didn't go for a long time. I didn't go to Walmart at 2 a.m. unless I needed to, or like around Christmas time, Shannon and I would go and would do our Christmas shopping late at night and whatever. We would do date nights at Walmart, walk around and shop and buy things we didn't need. But yeah, we have Halo Burger up here. Let's see. I miss a Supreme Deluxe with cheese and olives. What is that? What are you even talking about? That doesn't sound good at all. No, no, I mean, I've never had olives on a burger, so I don't know. That's pretty weird. Um, Jack in the Box breakfast always makes me sick. Well, that was one thing that I liked is they were open late and you could get breakfast at any time because McDonald's has just kind of really rolled that out and you can get McDonald's 20, their breakfast 24 hours. That was the before times and now you can't anymore. So there's little things that have can't come and gone that are just drive me nuts. Same thing up here. We got a Sonic and it's yeah, we have a Sonic like between my house and our kids' house, there's a Sonic, but it's like I always want to go in and get a drink, and we went and got slushies because they have sugar-free slushies. And then we went in and got them, and I'm sitting at home drinking a sugar-free slushie, and I'm like, this is way too sweet to be sugar-free. And sure enough, they use sugar-free syrups, but the icy base that they use is got sugar in it. So and they have no plans to fix that. So as far as I'm aware, at least as a couple of years ago. So keep that in mind if you're ever stopping in Sonic to get a frozen beverage. Now I know that you can get sugar-free beverages, so you can get like Sprite Zero, and they can add in like sugar-free flavorings and whatnot. But I don't know what their sweeteners are. I never done a lot of research. All right. So Evelyn says they just got a Raising Cane's chicken. We just got one of those a little while ago too, about a year ago. I was sad they didn't have any grilled chicken. We'll continue to support Chick-fil-A because they're the only place with good grilled chicken. Um, as with any place like that, I went in and I decided I hadn't had Raising Cane's before, so I wouldn't have anything really. I wanted to try them anyway. So I went ahead and I went and ordered a Caniac combo, which is a gigantic mess of food. And I really enjoyed it. That was the one time. I don't really have any desire to go back. That French fries, chicken strips, it's like a 5-year old's, you know, birthday party. You know what I mean? Chicken strips and French fries. I make good chicken strips at home. They just take a lot of work. Let's see. So it says Whataburgers existed a way longer than In and Out. I don't know. I thought In and Out Burger started in the 50s. When did let's see. So the first In and Out Burger opened October 22nd, 1948 in Baldwin Park, California. So 1948 for In and Out Burger. And Whataburger opened up its first location August 8th, 1950. So In-N-Out Burger is 2 years older than Whataburger. Now Whataburger's been in Texas because that's where they started. So In-N-Out Burger didn't get to Texas until 10 years ago, give or take. Let's see. I sound like such a boomer because I remember going to some of the very first Tiny Buc-ee's before they started building the giant mega gas stations. Yeah, that was the funny thing about James and Emily and and Noah and such, because they had Jackie with them and they had called me like, "We're on our way to Buc-ee's, we're excited." And they get to Buc-ee's and it's like the size of a Speedway gas station. They're like, "Wah wah wah wah," and they're like, "This is the wrong one." And I knew there was at least one Tiny Buc-ee's. By the way, when the horde is here in Ohio, if we want trash food that tastes good, we have a hot dog shop that does bunless or lettuce wraps. Dirty Frank's is the name. Ooh, I like hot dogs. Hot dogs are my jam. I eat hot dogs all the time. I get the cheap Oscar Mayer ones, like you get the 2 pack or whatever, like you're getting 20 hot dogs for like 4.98 or whatever. And I'll get those and then I just dip them in mustard and watch TV. Put them in the air fryer until they get like they're grilled. I don't have to pull the grill all the way out. Let's see. I really liked Albuquerque and Santa Fe. It was really nice. I need to get back there and visit. I've never been to New Mexico. I've never been to Old Mexico. I've been to Arizona. I've been to Nevada, California, Colorado, Kansas. I've been to Wyoming, Nebraska. Yeah, I saw that it was freezing a little bit. So usually when I see that it freezes, I just stop talking and just let it kind of do its thing, and then I start talking again. It does drive me nuts because I pay for fiber, so I shouldn't have this issue. I have gigabit fiber, so I shouldn't have any freezing issues. Uh, Technology. Uh, Whataburgers from Texas, so by default it is better. Oh, that's the age old question. I like them both. I tell you, like I can't remember if I like Five Guys burgers or not. It's been 10 years or so since I've had Five Guys. I do like Shake Shack though. And Shake Shack has crinkle fries. I know something to talk about here on a keto channel, but if I'm going to get fries, I'd rather them be crinkle fries. Not too bad, just every now and then. Yeah, they shouldn't do it at all. I pay like a lot of money a month for internet for it to do that. Yeah. And I got fiber. They dug in my yard and did all that stuff, and now I have fiber. I mean, I can't really complain. It does work relatively well. So I don't know if there's something going on with the neighborhood connection or something like that, but because it's supposed to be gigabit to everybody, not just like where they bring in like with cable, where they bring in and it's a speed for the neighborhood, and then it just gets less and less as more and more people subscribe to the cable or the internet or whatever. Then it gets slower and slower depending on how many people are using it. With fiber, it should be everybody gets gigabit. Shake Shack is wonderful, but you need to take out a second. Yeah, like a buddy of mine, one time we went to try it out for the first time, and we each got a burger, fries, and a shake. So transparency on this channel. Whenever I try to try something, I do try to try the way that you go. Especially if I'm paying that much money, I want to get everything that comes to me, I guess. And I've only been now twice. I've had Shake Shack at home here once, and then we got it in Florida. We were at a like an outlet mall, and the food court had a Shake Shack, so I got some French fries and stuff. It was pretty good. But yeah, it was like $50 for two people at a fast food restaurant. That's one thing I think In-N-Out Burger. I think In-N-Out Burger. I think is still like the best value, if I remember correctly. I don't remember like how much Whataburger was, but I know like as far as like Five Guys is super expensive. Shake Shack is expensive. But I remember, what In-N-Out Burger is still one of the better values as far as food wise goes. For even McDonald's is like ridiculously expensive. Like when I was doing DoorDash, I would see how much like I would go inside and wait for the order or whatever. And I'm like, a Big Mac meal is like $11, $12, $13. Really? No, thanks. And last time I was in Albuquerque, we bought some Blue Sky from some candy shop that made it for the TV show. I don't know what that is. Bought some Blue Sky from the I don't know what is that cotton candy? What is that, Heath? Elaborate. Usually I always get wherever I did because I take a wrong turn at Albuquerque, but yeah, let us know what that is, Heath. But yeah, like whenever I try a new restaurant comes to town, um, I'll get I'll get their fries and their burger or whatever, but I don't go out to eat very often like that, so I'm not really concerned about it. And I think for me, if I were to go and just get like a bunless burger and eat like that, then I'd be kind of disappointed. And I know that I would be longing to know, well, what does it taste like as a full burger or when fries and all that stuff. So I do that to kind of keep myself, because usually I'm like, I'm not going to go back there for a long time, and I'm okay with that. So I go and I'll try something like, with Raising Cane's. I went and I tried it. I got the chicken strips and the French fries and the Coke Zero, and I was good. I didn't like the sauce. I don't like mayonnaise based sauces, so that was okay. Their sauce was weird. Okay, so whenever I was seeing new things about Raising Cane's, like I would see like TikToks and people had these big giant cups and they're taking their chicken strips and dipping it all the way into the cup. I'm like, well, that's what they're going to give. They give you these little bitty cups and like 50 cents. And I'm like, well, what are people paying? $15 for these cups of sauce? Like, what's going on? Oh, Breaking Bad. Okay. Breaking Bad. I never watched that. It was just never a show that I was interested in. We just got MGM Plus. Our the Fire Stick on the TV in our bedroom died, so we had to get another one. So we ordered that, and now because we ordered that, we get 6 months of MGM Plus. It's mostly movies. It looks like it doesn't look. There's a lot of TV shows, but definitely something that we'll be looking to see what's going on there. So if anybody has any TV show recommendations for MGM Plus, let us know. I used to go to the original Shake Shack in Madison Square Park when I worked in New York City. It was literally a shack. Yeah, I've seen photos of that. And then it kind of turned into like a restaurant there, and then now they've got them all over the place. Like we've got them here, we've got them downtown, and we've got them in the fashion mall. Like we have a fashion mall here. It's like super bougie. They used to be like the funny thing is like where the Shake Shack is in the fashion mall used to be the Tesla store. So you would go there, they'd have Tesla sitting inside, and you could do like a test drive, but you'd have to like make a call in advance and whatever. But now they don't. Now that's gone, and now there's a Shake Shack in its place, which makes more sense for a mall. Whataburger is pretty expensive. I remember Grandpa used to say, "For what I just paid, we could have went to a sit down restaurant." Yeah, I mean, realistically, I don't know like what In and Out charges anymore. I'm pretty sure all their prices just went up, especially in California. But yeah, I would say it was not unreasonably priced. Actually, I think the original was a pull cart, and the one in the park was just the first permanent structure. Right, right, right. But any place that sells crinkle fries is a good place to me, except Culver's. Not a big Culver's fan. I have watched Breaking Bad about 7 times all the way through. Love that show. I'm sure that I would probably enjoy the show if I watched it because I love Sopranos and I watched that all the way through. Excuse me. And I've watched The Wire. So that type of show is something that I enjoy. We've watched Justified, which I'm excited. I love Justified because it introduced me to Walton Goggins, and that dude is probably one of my favorite actors of all time. If you're not familiar with Walton, check him out. I know he is in the new Fallout show that's on Amazon Plus or Amazon Prime or whatever. And there's just something about him. I just love him. Like anything he's in, like he was in a sappy sitcom that we watched. It was a sappy sitcom about his wife passing away and him trying to move on and date and be around other people, and date out, and deal with his kids and all that stuff. Dude is just a great actor. Like he was great in The Hateful Eight. He is just in Justified. Have you ever watched Justified? Oh man, he is one of the best characters ever. So good. Let's see. Food prices are out of control. Yeah, fast food. Yeah, 100%. It's just one of those things like I don't even need fast food. I don't care. It's just sometimes like, we just want to go get some or whatever we want to do. Like was it Thursday night? Our son was over, our middle boy was over, and he was kind of so he comes over and he wants to use our garage to change out his brakes. I'm like, okay. So he comes in because he comes in and I go outside to see what he's doing. I had to run to the post office. So I had to try to check on him, and he was like, he's using our garage because it's raining. But the car is backed, it's pulled into the garage, halfway sticking out of the garage, and he's working on the tire that's outside the garage in the rain. And I was like, I thought you want to be out of the rain. He goes, I know. I'm like, you do everything the hardest way possible. But he did come over and help me. He did come over with the jack and help me change the tire on my car. But not change the tire, but put the donut on. I got to go this week and get new tire because Chandra threaded the needle in this tiny pothole and shredded the tire. So I'm actually kind of impressed because I saw the pothole. It was small. She just was like, she did it with expert precision. Um, but we'll get that fixed. But he's got a like one of those floor jacks. I I had one. It's in his car now, and then he bought another one. So yeah, the floor jacks work better than the scissor jacks, and they're like really the longest part of changing a tire is the scissor jack. So I had bought a floor jack to keep in my car at the time, the car he has now, because I just went through so many tires, and it was just like if I have this, it's just like undo it, put it back on. You can change a tire in like 10 minutes flat. Otherwise, it's like 30 minutes just to get it jacked up with the scissor jack. So, I also remember, let's see, only being able to get Chick-fil-A at the mall. Yeah, I like Chick-fil-A. I'm just not a big fan of their policies. Um, but that's not what this channel's about. But anyway, Walton he was awesome in Sons of Anarchy and The Shield. I loved him in The Shield. Well, I don't know. I started to watch The Shield, but I didn't get into it right away. And I didn't like usually if it doesn't capture my attention right off the bat, I don't even know if I even realized he was in it. Maybe I'll have to go back and rewatch it now. But Sons of Anarchy, he had a bit part, just maybe 2 or 3 episodes, but he was awesome. He's good in everything he does. Jewel is here. How are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. I have gone to the Florida Panhandle area the last couple of years and thinking about changing to Gulf Shores. Could you talk about Gulf Shores? Maybe compare the two areas. So I have only been to Gulf Shores. My kids, I had started a new job in 2019. In the beginning of 2019, I started a new job, and they went to Pensacola, Florida. And because Chandra and I had gone by ourselves in the off season to Gulf Shores and stayed like a 1-bedroom little condo thing we had like really right on the water, and it was gorgeous. It was it was like in November. It was like right in November we went, and there were like monarch butterflies flying around everywhere, and we stayed closer to Fort Morgan in that, and it was a really good deal because it was off season. We basically had the place to ourselves. I mean, it was almost kind of like so empty it was creepy. Then we've gone back 2 summers in a row after that and stayed. We've stayed at the Crystal Tower. Basically, it's like the condo. We stayed at Crystal Tower condos, and basically like the condo is the condo building is on the not the Gulf side. It's on the like the inlet side or whatever. But then there's a walking path. So like from like the second or third floor, there's like one of those hamster tubes or whatever you walk through that takes you to the other side of the road. And then when you get over there, there's like a big pool, a hot tub, and then there's the beach access. So there's like a little super like we can't even really call it a lazy river, but it's a little thing you can kind of walk through a little bit. It doesn't really move you, but I like Gulf Shores. I think it's better and I know that the kids and everybody likes Gulf Shores better than they did Pensacola. There's a place called the Hangout. You can have breakfast. They do like a pirate and princess breakfast. Basically, you get like unlimited eggs and bacon and sausage and all that stuff. They also bring out the hash browns and the pancakes and potatoes and stuff, but you don't have to eat those if you don't want to. But you can get all the unlimited bacon and eggs and everything. It's a little pricey. They have some food options. I mean, there's grocery stores and stuff. There's a Walmart. So I mean, I just like it better. And it's low key. It's like everything kind of shuts down kind of early, like 9 or 10 o'clock, and then everything just kind of calms down. So you can actually relax. It's more family oriented. And I mean, yeah, there's the hangout and stuff, and you can go to the bars and stuff. And but I mean, it's not a party kind of atmosphere. I mean, there a little bit during the day, there's like teenagers and stuff, but it's not overwhelmingly like that. I think where maybe Pensacola might be a little more that way, but I think it's more laid back. I just really like Pensacola. I mean, I just love Gulf Shores, and I would go there over and over again. It's just nice. The water's nice. And every time I bring this up, I'm afraid I'm going to jinx it, but you don't have to worry about sharks in the ocean. There hasn't been a shark attack since like 1890 something, and that was really in Mobile and not in Gulf Shores. So as Shannon and I have gone off season to South Carolina, to Hilton Head Island and the Cologne Beach, and that was amazing. I recommend that off season as well. We stayed in a little condo. It's like a little tiny beach town. It's kind of like if you watch Bob's Burgers, like everything has some kitschy name to it. Like everything's got a kitschy, like punny name, and that's the way everything is there. Like even the coffee shop was called the coffee shop we stopped in was Coffee Shop Near Me. That's what it was called, the Coffee Shop Near Me. Because when you Google it, that's the first one that comes up, and it's like you Google coffee shop near me, and it was like that's the name of the coffee shop. It was awesome. but I know that's not. But the reason I bring up that is because when I searched sharks, there's like maybe 10 or like maybe 10 shark incidents along that whole beach every year, maybe five. So it was one of those things like, but the beach there is hard and you can ride bikes on it. That was kind of neat. But yeah, Gulf Shores is a winner chicken dinner all the time. And it's not it's only 45 minutes from Lake Pensacola. So really, wherever you decide to stay, it's not that far because you got Gulf Shores, you got like Fort Morgan, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and then Pensacola. So I mean, it's just depending. I just think the Alabama side's better. John says he's back. He lost internet for a bit, thought it was on your end, and realized it was me. Okay. Let's see. He was the main character in The Shield. He was the original member of the strike team. Okay. Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that and try to see. I don't remember. I think that might be. I don't remember what streaming channel that was on, but I'll find it. Brenda's here. Good morning. Can't stay. Doggy has vet. Oh, well, hope the doggy's good. It's a checkup. That should be good. But yeah, Gulf Shores is my favorite. Like, I just love it. I mean, it's just like if I was a teenager, Gulf Shores wouldn't be so great because everything does kind of close down. I mean, it's weird. It's the South. Like, you can't buy booze or anything like that or beer at Walmart, which is weird. You have to go to an actual liquor store to buy that, which is weird to me. I mean, even for Indiana, like, and we couldn't buy beer or booze on Sundays for 80 years. We can now, but so if it's on FX, then I should be able to find it on Hulu then maybe. But we've been watching Ted Lasso over on Apple Plus or whatever it's called. But that's good. Then I think we'll watch Fallout. But I'm going to be driving. It's going to drive me nuts because then we'll have to pay an extra $3 a month to get Amazon Prime without commercials because I refuse to watch commercials. It's like a waste of my life. And I'm watching Fallout looks good because Walton Coggins is kind of like not necessarily a main character, but yeah, he's a main character. But yeah, I never played the video game. I don't know anything about the video game, but yeah. Even one of the cool things like is drive through Mobile and then take when you get all the way down to Mobile, take the little interstate thing over. There's a route over to Gulf Shores, and it takes you along like the water. Then you can see like there's like battleships and stuff. It's kind of neat. We did that just the one time because there is a Costco in Mobile, and we stopped at Costco the first time we went down there. So new shows we're currently into right now. We just watched season 1 and 2 on Netflix, and I think it's already season 3 is on Paramount Plus. Maybe I have to look and see. And I think we will subscribe to Paramount Plus long enough to watch season 3 of Resident Alien because we need it. I love that show so much. And so we getting to know like our middle boy is dating a new girl, and he's brought her over a few times, and like, but he brought her over in times where we really couldn't get a chance to talk to her. I mean, just like all of us were here, and it's loud and crazy, and when he was working on his car, she came over, and she came in the house to go to the bathroom, and I didn't know who it was. I just heard him come in, and here's a girl's voice that I don't recognize because I'm not used to hearing her voice yet. I didn't know she was coming over, and it like freaked me out. And she's like, "Oh, I just gotta go potty." Oh, I was like, "Oh, it's fine. I just didn't know who you were." We got to talking, and we had dinner, and they talked us into Chinese food. Kids, I luckily only ate a little bit, and then we sent it all home with them. I was full. I had eggs earlier that day, a bunch of eggs and some sausage. So even though we did kind of step out a little bit and I had some fried rice. I didn't have a whole lot. I just was full, but it tasted good. I had what I wanted, and we sent the rest home with them. But yeah. Um, okay, so it's Peacock. Okay. But yeah, so she's really into Resident Alien and the shows that we like to watch because he's trying to get her to watch all these shows that he wants her to watch, and I don't think she's all that interested. But she wants to hang out with us because we're cooler. You know what I'm saying? Um, so Peacock. So Peacock may be what that is. Okay. I want to watch Yellowstone. There's all these spinoffs, I just need to find the time to sit down and watch a show like Yellowstone. So, Chris Cook in Nashville is here. How are you doing, my friend? That recipe you dropped yesterday looks so good. I love or miss. If you haven't had a chance to watch his recipe, go over to his channel, check out his recipe for um, cheesy hamburger helper. Looks delicious. Just came out yesterday. Haven't had a chance to try it yet. The noodles look interesting. And I was looking through my cabinets. I have these little silicone baking trays, but I've also got big baking trays that I could just parchment line or whatever, and I can cook the same thing. But I don't have egg white powder. I don't have egg white powder. So I need to maybe get some and find out what's one's the best. Fallout, you need to understand the story of the game. They do not go enough into the backstory, so it may be confusing. If you didn't play the game, we watched the whole first season already. So, okay, if I didn't watch the season, if I hadn't played the game, would I still enjoy it as a standalone story? I don't necessarily need all the backstory. Do they do a good enough job of just making it entertaining? That's the question I have. So Radical Geek Maitreya says that playing the game helped a lot. Okay. If you're not subscribed already, go do that. Go subscribe to him. He's got a lot of recipes. And I saw a recipe last night. I know that's a couple days old, but the cracker recipe over at Neely's on Indigo Neely's channel looked really good. So I'm always looking for a crunchy cracker. What am I looking at? Latest episodes of Yellowstone. Okay, so Yellowstone coming in November. Pretty sure you need to waste a few $100 playing all the games. I don't know. Oh man, video games these days are like. I love video games back in the day, and I got addicted to them just like any kid does. And I had a Sega Genesis and a Nintendo, but I've tried to play games now or even watch the kids play games, and it drives me bonkers. Like I'm just not wired that way anymore. I'm just not wired that way anymore. I just like, you know, let's see. Such a huge Sons of Anarchy nerd. The creator of Yellowstone was the sheriff from Sons. Oh, that'll be interesting. I am curious to see what the thing that Kevin Costner left Yellowstone to do. I'm curious to see how good that might be. I know there was a big controversy about all that, so um, yeah. I mean, I know he left or didn't want to do something with Yellowstone and decided he wanted to do his own thing, and he's been working on it. It's going to be a bunch of movies. I'm curious to see those. I've been wanting to watch Yellowstone because that all looks good to me. You think it's good? Okay, we're gonna watch it because Walton Coggins, and I mean I could always look things up if I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of resources out there that can help us. Um, you know, let's see. I use the Now brand egg white powder. It works, and it's usually the most inexpensive. I actually started using Sport Protein egg white powder sourced from Roseacre Farm, so it's all American and cage free. Good stuff, and I have a discount deal with them, which helps a bit. Okay, interesting. I'll take a look at that. He was using the Now brand before that. Maitreya says she loves the Roseacre Farms. So I'm thinking we're discussing that now. Let's see. So he's going to be announcing the new discount deal on his page this week and have the okay. So I'll be on the lookout for that. Yeah, like but I watch a lot of YouTube. So I watched it before we went to bed last night. I was watching there's a channel, Bright Sun Films channel on YouTube, and they were talking about Disney, like the whole thing of um Disney World at Magic Kingdom when they opened. There was a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea attraction, and it ran to the mid 90s. So from 71 to the mid 90s, and then it just sat abandoned for like 15 years, like 10 years, just as it was. Like you could see it just sitting there with water. And then they went and they like had to clean it out and do that. And then and that's basically where New Fantasyland is now. And there's like an homage to that attraction in the the Little Mermaid attraction they have there. It's like a dark ride, and there's like in the rock work, there's like a you can see a nautilus in that. Um, and so basically, where New Fantasyland is, that's where that attraction was. So that was pretty interesting video. I like stuff like that, history of theme parks. There was a channel I really liked. It's called Main Street to Midway or Midway to Main Street. I think Midway to Main Street. He put out some amazing content about the parks, history about the parks, and he hasn't put anything out for like a year. And I'm like, oh, come on, dude. You know, he's probably got another job or something like that and doing stuff and busy and maybe I don't know, maybe he had a kid or something. Um, I don't know, but that's what I watch a lot of that because I mean I can't watch shows when Chandra's not home because everything we watch we basically watch together, with the exception of a few things like I watch Reacher by myself. That was a thing that I really love that new series Reacher. The guy who plays Reacher's pretty good at it, and he like looks more convincing as Reacher than Tom Cruise did in the movies. Um, I liked Bosch. I still need to finish the second season of the Bosch spinoff that he's a detective instead of a or not a detective. He's like a whatever he is instead of a cop. But yeah, I like the theory that says now that Disney bought Star Wars, Princess Leia is now a Disney princess. That's the same thing with who else did they say? Um, they were saying somebody else is a Disney princess the other day because they own Star Wars, they own Indiana Jones, they own Fox. Yeah, so yeah, all that stuff. So so Midway to Main Street has a podcast called TTA. So is it like did he talk about like not coming back on the channel or does he talk about any of that stuff? I don't know. I don't remember. I saw it and I thought it was funny, then I just kept going. Yeah. I loved him. I mean, and I know his videos probably took a long time to produce because there was all the B-roll and all the footage and the voiceovers and all that stuff. You know, I need to look that up. It's called TTA. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all just have to bear with me. Let's see. Yes, he has in the past. He's tried to make it full time doing YouTube, but the thing now he does contract work. Yeah. Good morning. Oh, JJ is here. Good morning, JJ. So yeah, he does contract work now. Okay, but I wish you would make more. At least like a video every couple of months or something. At least I know he's alive. Good morning, y'all. I've been listening for a while. Finally, get to sit down with my coffee. Cheers. Speaking of Buc-ee's, my favorite cup. Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it. So it was called TTA. I'll have to look this up in a little bit. Um, let's see what this says. JJ says to Chris Cook in Nashville, oh, good. I've been needing some egg white protein powder. What I have is over a year old, I think. Does it go bad? My experience is it doesn't go bad, but rather get clumpy and a bit stale. So I don't have a stand mixer. So one of the things, like especially for like the protein breads and stuff, where you got to whip up, I'm gonna try, and if I get some egg white protein powder to try like do Neely stuff, um, I'm gonna try and see if I can do it with a hand mixer and how long that takes. Because I don't have $500 to drop on a stand mixer. I don't want to buy a $50 one that breaks within a few, like the first time I use it. So, um, you know, yeah, I know. First time we ever saw a Buc-ee's was actually in Gulf Shores. We got off the interstate going to Gulf Shores, and we're like, "What is this?" And we're like, "Why are there so many gas pumps?" And then you see how busy they are, and obviously, gas is the loss leader of that place. They lose money on gas to get you inside to buy fudge and brisket and jerky. My only issue with Buc-ee's is the soda situation. They didn't have Coke Zero, Sprite Zero, and those are the ones I like. I'm not a Diet Pepsi is okay. I don't even know if they had Diet Pepsi. I don't even remember seeing that or whatever, but and Beaver Nuggets. Those actually I had to try those. I actually had to try Beaver Nuggets. They taste like corn pops, like corn pop cereal. So I imagine if you put them in a bowl with some milk, they'd be just like corn pops. Probably dang delicious too. Um, But yeah, like that, they have so much soda fountains, but none of it's good. Like there's all that, even like they have a lot of the Buc-ee's branded sodas. None of them are sugar free. Like what is even going on with that? Like you should have no issue with a hand mixture if you're really careful about clean bowls and no fat in it. Try something like carnivore buns with the extra tablespoon of out of the whites. Yeah, I always wanted to try the ones like Neely does with like the grated butter in it. And then there's all the recipes that you make with with the egg white protein powder. So I got my KitchenAid cleaning out a rental. It was non-functional, took about $30 and YouTube for me to repair it. Lucky. Yeah, I mean that's how I got my air fryer. My air fryer is like a $200 air fryer, and I got it for $20, basically brand new at a yard sale. Um, yeah, just gonna make sure, yeah, like the because I had the stainless steel bowls, make sure they're good and clean. Yeah, I just gotta make sure because I know that there are some because I know Neely had been promoting some egg white powders that they had changed the formulas over time since she's made videos and now people couldn't get them to like stiffen up. So I don't know if the ones that you're going to be working with, Chris, if they have issues stiffening up or whatever. So yeah, let me know about that. Yeah, that's the thing is like their house sodas aren't sugar free, and I mean I'm guessing that's fine for them, but like me on a road trip, we stopped there and I've got we hit that last Bucky's on the way out of Atlanta. I've got like 8 hours, 10 hours left to go to get to our location in Florida. A nice big soda be a good way to go. You know what I mean? Keep me trucking right along. But yeah, so yeah, that was a bummer to me that they had. So I mean, I just got a couple of bottles of Coke Zero or whatever, but like it's just like I would rather have a. There's just some fountain soda just tastes so much better to me. Let's see. My wife tried to make some PSMF bread, but the egg whites wouldn't stiffen up. I asked her, she did a clean bowl, and she said yes. Carl. I told her that she thought the only reason it wouldn't that no was that there was a trace of fat in the bowl, and she just gave me that look. And I mean, could be too like an additive in the protein. It could be an additive in the egg white powder. That's what Neely ran into. Is that some of this like if they haven't if it's other than like I don't know. There's a video or she was talking about it live or something. She needs to go back and redo her videos or put like a disclaimer in the video or whatever. Um, Will do. The Now brand has always worked great for me, and the Sport Protein seems great so far too, since it's super clean. So I can't remember. She said there was something. I don't know if it was some kind of emulsifier or something that goes into it or something. Um, well, I wanted a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and her getting the mixer was part of the bargain to get what I wanted. So I use a Lenovo laptop to do all my video editing. I'm doing it on it right now. I'm on the laptop, and it's got a Ryzen 9 with a 3050 in it. So it's like a mid range. It's a very budget GPU, um, and it's got 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM in it. I want Apple to do video editing, but like when I spec out one, if I'm going to buy one, I want to make sure it lasts me a few years. And every time I spec out a new MacBook, so I want to get the newest processor that's out, because I mean, there's no point in going and spending that money, because you usually don't get much of a discount buying last year's model or whatever. So I'd want to buy the newest model, get the maxed out RAM, maxed out everything, because you can't update a MacBook once you've purchased it. So basically, they build them and you buy it, and then that's the way it's going to be. I have external storage and all that stuff. I've got plenty of external storage for backup stuff, but you want to make sure you have enough internal storage that's quick and all that stuff. So like $5,000 for a laptop to do video editing where I don't make any money is kind of a stretch. I mean, this one I got, it was like $1,300 at Costco. So I mean, it does fine. It's just slower to editing videos, but you know, let's see. Try wiping the bowl out with white vinegar first. That can help too. Also, dry it really well. See if I've had the egg white powder still doesn't whip up, it could be an additive. Yeah, Kitchen Whiz, 100%. He's like I don't know. He's gone and taken his potions class, so he's well on his way. So I see a bunch of you. See a bunch of you tonight on Coffee Talk, heading to Menards and Home Depot. Oh, I went to Menards last week. I'll talk about that. Well, I know you have a good day, but I went to Menards. Um, I'm going to be making a video about Shasta soda. Okay. So Shasta makes a diet soda that is sucralose and Ace K, but it doesn't have aspartame. And I know, and it's actually relatively cheap. It's like $4.50 when it's not on sale for a 12 pack. And they had on their website, they had like a tiki punch, so a fruit punch. They had a cream, like an orange cream soda, and they had something else like a Mountain Dew, like a diet Mountain Dew version or a sugar-free Mountain Dew version. So I was really excited to try that. But when I get to the store, they didn't have any of those flavors. So I got like the lemon lime, and orange, and a root beer. So we're gonna try those and review those. And then I went and I was talking to somebody who works there, and they were looking them up. But those three flavors that I wanted are being discontinued for some reason. And I've reached out to Shasta, and I haven't heard anything back from Shasta yet. So hopefully they reach out to me sometime soon. I'm really curious, because I would love to be able to review some of those flavors, because to me, like having an option that's aspartame free is something that I know a lot of people are looking for. And I know there are some sucralose sodas out there, but like typically like those clearly American sodas at Walmart are like sucralose and 8K. Um, but I don't think people even realize that those are soda, or they're like bubbly or whatever, or even care about them. Um, but I'm going to try these ones out and see how they taste and all that stuff, and they compare to regular soda. I'd like to see if they had like a diet cola, like a sugar-free cola, but I didn't see any of that. So I need to reach out to them again. I've reached out just to Shasta, but I don't know if they have an actual team who continue. Maybe I'll tweet at them and see what they say. I don't know if they respond to me on Twitter or whatever, but let's see. I need to get some of that anyway to make some of these recipes that you put out recently. Definitely been craving some brats. Oh yeah, let's see. Brats on my hot dog buns would be killer. So I want to make the carnivore spaghetti for my wife, who is dipping her toe into keto. Rhyme into yes. Let's see. All right, time to live up to my name and go find some food. Yep. Have a good one, Heath. But yeah, Menards is the only place right now that I can find in our area that carries Shasta. So like if I'm gonna do this review or whatever, then hopefully I need to find out if they sell other places. You can get it online, like order it, but it's so expensive. And a Menards, like Menards had like the Tiki Punch on sale, like 350 for a 12 pack, but then like you're ordering it, then it's like $17 shipping. I didn't want to pay that. So there's just some weird things. That's what we haven't done in a video yet, but I figured I would talk about it here. You guys won't tell anybody, right? Um, but yeah, like I just want to. I'm always just looking for products and stuff that people can try out because I know that people have issues with aspartame. I don't necessarily have an issue with aspartame, but I imagine it probably isn't the greatest if I'm drinking a bunch of it. Any kind of chemical like that. So, you know, but yeah, I'm super excited. I'm still waiting for. Let me see. I'm still waiting for updates about Keto Palooza, like who the speakers are going to be. We still haven't seen any updates yet. Um, Again, like I said, I have a commitment here to talk about Keto Palooza every live here that we do because it's so important to me. KPL 24, October 11th through the 13th. I will be there the 10th. So midday on the 10th, I'll be there hanging out. If you are in town early enough, let's hang out. I think we're going to the meat buffet, the Brazilian restaurant or whatever. So, like I said, hopefully we'll be seeing who is coming and who are going to be speakers soon. I know Chris from that Chris Cook in Nashville is going to be there. Me, Maitreya, JJ said they are coming. Evelyn and Stacy. We need to get your thoughts out to Stacy. She had a hip replacement this week, so hopefully your thoughts are with her. Speedy recovery. So going to be a lot of fun. Super excited to hang out with everybody. Um, yeah. JJ said they're planning. Let's before I look here. Let's see. Oh, maybe I will be able to get Diet Shasta. I'm shopping for multi-tier rolling toolbox for my leather tools. Yeah, check and see what you guys have. Um, and see. They had a limited supply of what they had in the diet. I don't know, maybe just the local one to me. Look and see what they've got. I want the Tiki Punch. I'm just not gonna pay $17 to have it shipped to me. So yeah. So planning to fly in on the 10th. It's your birthday. All right. We'll have a party. My lady Lassalot's gonna be there. That's gonna be so much fun. Danny's gonna be there. No worries. No one's ever late as long as we're still going. It's okay. I remember having my great grandparents would take me to my great grandparents were Jehovah's Witnesses, and I would go with them to their like yearly like service thing that they would this big service they would have like in a big building downtown here. I don't think they own it anymore or whatever. But or whatever. I don't really know what's going on in the Jehovah's Witness thing. But I mean, when I was a kid, I would go with them, and we would get these little tickets for food. We get like pudding cups, and you can get like Shasta soda. That's my time ever having Shasta was at those meetups. I don't even know where you can get it now. Like I started seeing it. I didn't even know it was a thing anymore. But Shasta, I know you can buy it at Menards. That's why hopefully I can get. Hopefully they reach out to me because I want to talk to them because, you maybe get a discount to order directly from them. Maybe there's a way to do that. And, like, because I mean, if it's an aspartame free soda, then like other people may be interested in that. So that's my thought process on it. If it's any good, I mean, I have the three flavors. I have 3 12 packs in the garage. I have the orange, the lemon lime, and I have a root beer. So hopefully they're good. Be on the lookout. Well, the next couple of weeks we'll do a review. Hopefully, I'm giving them some weeks to get back in touch with me, so I can ask some questions and find out what's going on. You know, Fresca. I love Fresca. I get Fresca all the time, but it's aspartame as well. But it's a grapefruit soda. But I love Fresca. I'll buy like if it's on sale, I may buy some. Sometimes you can get Fresca for like $1 for a 2 liter. I'll buy it. We used to love like Fresca's good because it's caffeine free. It's really good. It's time to start yard work. Cut grass, trim ivy on fence, start laying stone, walk away to pool. Going to be a good day. All right. Thank you for being here, Danny. Have a good rest of your day, buddy. Tell Beth we said hello. Um, I don't know. I never had soda. I remember when I was growing up, every soda was in a glass bottle. I remember when Mountain Dew was in the 16-ounce glass bottles, and all the sodas had that thin like styrofoam label on them. So like Coca Cola and like Mountain Dew were all in those like they had the little glass bottles and they had that thin styrofoam and the same thing. Then like um and then like the 2 liters had that black cap on the bottom. It was glued on. I love you too, Leaky. Have a good day. Are you on your way to work? Stop by later tonight and maybe have some food. I got a bunch of salmon if you want to eat some. I made about 5 pounds of salmon last night. If you want to eat some fish on your way in from work, I'll be here. Love you. Be good. Have a good day. That's my brother, my little brother. Danny's still listening. Earbuds. All right. Jahil is here. Hi, Dustin. It's Timmy. I want to be just like you when I grow up. I wish Papa would let me illegally drive to his vroom. So I can go to Keto Palooza and meet my idol. I'm only 5, though. Well, maybe we can arrange a play date for my granddaughter and you, Timmy. She's 5 too. But she knows to call it a car, not a vroom vroom. What are you doing? Anyway, I'm just teasing Timmy. That's actually a real boy. Yeah, Timmy's a real boy, everybody. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes. So Andy and Evelyn and everybody, Danny and all these wonderful people. John, did you ever decide if you were going to Keto Palooza or not? Did you? As I know you were thinking about it. Are you going to be at Keto Palooza? If you are, make it a surprise and don't tell Emily or James. Or tell James, but he probably would tell Emily. He's probably a big mouth. Um, but yeah, no, I want to say that maybe you were talking about maybe going and trying to fly in. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm a little weird sometimes, but yeah. Anyway, Keto Palooza is going to be a lot of fun. Keto Chow is going to be there. Make fun of Chris. What are the things you could do? But yeah, um, yeah. I was thinking the other day it would be kind of neat if Keto Chow would make like not. I mean, I'm sure you could make ranch, so make like Keto Chow ranch because that would make like good mix-ins for stuff. Like, as people could make recipes out of it. Obviously, it would be like chicken, like the baked potato or whatever. You wouldn't want to make a shake out of it necessarily, but like soup bases and stuff, ranch, maybe like a French onion or a sour cream and onion, and you can make like dips out of it. You just take like the packet and mix it in with like sour cream, and then you'd have like a dip that's ready to rock and roll. I don't know. It seemed like that they could do something like that, right? Make it source it clean so there's no maltodextrin or any unwanted flavors or whatever. I think you could be cool. Like there could be ranch and sour cream and onion. Um, I don't know what other flavors we could do. Um, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of things out there that could work. All right, John says he would love to, but it's not looking so good. Well, that's rude. Anyway, Andy says having to be close enough to drive makes a big difference. It's the only conference I'm going to because it's close. I mean, it's 2-hour drive for me, so um, I mean, it's close enough to go, but it's not close enough to drive home at the end of each night. Um, but I just plopped down $1,700 on a new e-bike, so I'm trying to cut back on spending for a while. Are you riding that around instead of driving a car? Or is it just something you're just hanging out and drive like, 'cause if you replaced, like, driving your car with that, then, you know, that might work. That's why I drove to Elkhart to go to the 2 yeah, that was awesome. Um, it was awesome to meet you. I don't know if we've met before. I can't remember, and I apologize to people because I can't always remember everybody that I've met. Um, yeah, you can make chicken with it. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think, there's gotta be, like, other flavors that you could like other savory flavors that could be done. But yeah, like I was thinking that the other day because I would love to have a clean, like French onion or sour cream and onion dip to eat pork rinds with. Because yeah, you can buy like the Frenches or like there's a like Aldi has some, but they're just not that clean. And I know like a packet of keto chow would be like, I don't know, they'd probably get it down to like 4 total carbs or something like that. 5 total carbs for the whole packet. Then that would probably do a 16-ounce container of sour cream and make a dip out of it. Um, and then that would be like a lower carb instead of having, like all what adds up and the normal dip. So um yeah, an Indian butter chicken sauce, like that would be amazing. Um, yeah, I think that'd be so awesome. I can't remember either. We are at Keto Palooza 2023, but I didn't meet too many people there. Don't know in the Ohio area has so many awesome people. Yeah, that was my thing. So, and I know it's weird because when I went to Keto Palooza 23, I wasn't sure how it was going to go because I mean, as somebody who does this kind of stuff, and I wasn't really doing lives at the time, I was just putting out normal content. Um, I wasn't sure, if people would know who I was or like you walk in and you don't know if because you don't always know who knows you. When you do this kind of thing, you don't know who already knows you. And I was trying to talk to everybody, but that's a little, I mean, even as extroverted as I am, that's still kind of an overwhelming proposition of walking in and there's 300 people. You're walking around, you're trying to meet people, and then you see all the people you already know, and you want to spend time with them, and like so that's why like even still like all of my some of my favorite people were at Keto Palooza. I didn't necessarily sit with them at things. I would go to lunch and dinner with them, but I wouldn't sit with them at the actual event. Like I got the chance to sit with Anna and Chris, um, and um, met a bunch of other awesome people. So there's just so many other people that I just kind of want to make sure I was getting to know other people. So yeah, I'm using it instead of a car. I had my license revoked in New York years ago and having a hell of a time trying to restore my driving privileges. I am into my lawyer for close to 10. Well, that's crazy. I've known people who've never had their license. One of my mom's friends drove. I don't know if she has her license now or not, but she's the entire time I've ever known her, she didn't have a license. She's like, I don't have a license. I just drive. I'm like, my luck, I'd be getting pulled over all the time. I imagine that there's probably a percentage of people who've just never had a license, don't care, don't need one. But anymore, like you have to have some kind of ID. I mean, even to get on an airplane, you got to have some kind of ID, like a driver's license or something to get on an airplane. She's probably never flown, or maybe before they cared too much. Maybe I don't know. That's crazy. Like especially that it was so much. Like it was that you've put so much into it. and they haven't been able to resolve it. New York is a pain in the butt all the way around with that kind of stuff anyway, I'd imagine. But good luck. And if anybody here knows of any lawyers that are cheaper than that can help John, have them reach out to John any way they can. Or reach out to me, and we'll get them in touch with John somehow. Um, I was a dumb young kid, in my day. I tried to never do it like really, but I mean, later in life, I was a lot better. We would just take cabs and go out and do stuff like that. But I mean, luckily, nothing ever happened. So, um, yeah, that's my thing. You need a new lawyer. Yeah. Let's see. My lawyer recommended that I just drive without a license and deal with the consequences of it if it had come. I mean, that's what I would do. But if I was the lawyer recommending that, that's like, you shouldn't recommend that to me. I don't know. I don't know because you're in Florida now, and it seems like I would reach out. I don't know. I would be like, what? That's so crazy. It seems like there should be like a statute of limitations with that. Like, something was like, it's been 10 years and you have no new charges, no new nothing. Something like that should just kind of fall off. But that's not how New York works, I guess. So, yeah, being in my early 20s and all, I mean, that kind of, I mean, I'm glad, I rode with people who did it. I had a friend that passed away when I was very, like in my early 20s. He wasn't even driving, but he was passed out and then like that, and he never woke up because they were in a car accident. So, I mean, those are things that stick with you and such. And, and I didn't drive. I mean, I was always very, very careful. Try to not. Probably happened where I probably shouldn't have, but thought I was okay anyway, that kind of stuff. But you know what I mean? Like, then like we got now with Ubers, there's no reason with Uber and taxis and everything you can take. And yeah. And even with our kids, like I'll drive my kids. I don't care. I'll get up at 2 a.m. and go pick them up 3 a.m. and pick them up and take them home. You know, I'll do whatever. I'm not mad. I know they're safe. So I always take when our boys decided he wanted to start going out with friends on the weekends. I made sure I would drive him and stuff. To buy or register a car, you need a valid license. They ask you those questions. Well, I mean, if you're buying a car from a dealership, but then to register the car, maybe you have somebody who has a license register it for you and you just drive it. I don't know. Not this is not advice. I'm not telling you to do anything. Not at all. No way, shape, or form. But you know, I don't know. It just seems crazy. But good luck with that, John. It's a miracle. So Danny says it's a miracle that I never got a DUI. I was bad when I was younger. I think we've all been in situations where we could have been better. We're all stupid teenagers. We're all stupid adolescents. And I mean, I'll be the first one to say, my adolescence really lasted till I got with Chandra. I didn't have any responsibility. I didn't have kids of my own. I took care of my mom and my grandma, but they didn't need around the clock care. I mean, my mom was in a nursing home for a long time. My grandma wasn't home. I mean, bills always got paid. Everything was taken care of. But I would do whatever I wanted. Go out to the bars and hang out with friends and go out on the weekends and I went to work and I did my thing. But I didn't have any real responsibility outside of bills and just making sure my grandma my grandma got to the store, she got to the doctor, all those things. I took care of all that, but I didn't have kids until I got with Chandra, and then priorities shift. You know, and then like once you do, you get, in a relationship, a serious long-term relationship, like going to the bars and stuff really seems to be, especially if you don't drink much. And I was like just going and drinking soda. I mean, most bars only carry Diet Coke. So then you're just drinking water. So I mean, there's just like It's like it goes down and down and down. And then, I mean, I still go to bars and stuff every once in a while to see bands play and stuff, but that's really the only reason I go now. Um, Actually, the charges being so old is working against me. They are saying that they are so old to vacate them. They're too old to vacate them. The problem is that I have too many points on my license for them to reinstate it. Yeah, but don't those come back? I thought points like came back on your license over time. Like, um, I've only had one speeding ticket, and I remember going in to pay it. It took like weeks before it even showed up in their system. But I went in and showed up in the system, and they were like, "You can pay this much. You won't get any points, and it won't show up on your license. It won't show up on your record, and it won't get in your insurance. Won't get notified." So I was like, it was like $350 for that. But I figured at the time as my only speeding ticket, I figured if I paid the $350 instead of like the $150 or whatever, then I would be saving money over the long term because then the insurance, even if it went up $20 over the course of how many years, would I be paying way more than that? So that's what I did. And that was the only speeding ticket I ever had. And it was kind of a bad speeding ticket because I was getting on an on ramp onto the interstate in a construction zone during like rush hour traffic in the morning, trying to get ahead of the traffic. So I was going fast to get ahead of the traffic so I wasn't trying to merge in all this traffic. So I was able to do it. And then I pulled it, like, I guess I merged in front of a cop. It didn't look, I mean, it looked like it was like a black cop car, but it didn't have any markings on it, didn't have anything. It didn't look like a cop car. It looked like it was older, and he still pulled me over. And I was like, well, here we go. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, as we get older, we realize, I mean, because when we're younger, we're invincible. Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm going to be fine. I know everything. We have kids. We know how that is. They know everything until they don't. Yeah, you seem immortal. I had 12 points suspension on my I had my license suspended one time, but it was from a car accident. The insurance company didn't file a form with the state saying that I had insurance at the time, so they suspended my license for not having insurance, though I had insurance because they helped me replace my car. So when they paid for the other person, so that's irritating to me. And then I had to pay to get my license reinstated. Yeah, I got pulled over for that one time, um, and because I had a suspended license or whatever, and the cop pulled me over. But it was a weird situation because he did it illegally. Because I was at a gas station getting gas, and he was parked tucked back in the gas station. So he must have been running everybody's plates as he was sitting there. So he ran my plates while I was getting gas. And as I pulled out of the gas station, he followed me and pulled me over. So he had no probable cause to run my plates to pull me over, even though I was driving on a suspended license. But he really couldn't do anything because he didn't follow the law because he ran my plates with no probable cause. So he still pulled me over. He was like, "You have a suspended license?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "You can get that." I'm like, "I just don't have the money." I mean, that stuff costs money. But yeah, anyway, yeah. Let's see. Points will drop off for insurance purposes, but stay on your permanent driving record. What? That's dumb. I thought they drop because I know in Indiana, I know they drop off your points go away. Like because like even when I had that speeding ticket and they said if I paid the extra amount, then I was basically also signing an agreement that I wouldn't get another infraction for like 6 months. And I was like, well, I don't plan on getting a speeding ticket. Nobody goes out to get speeding tickets. I'm not an excessively fast driver. Very cautious driver. It's a product of working for car insurance companies for a long time. And let's see, I had my car speedometer went to 120 and I would blow past. So I had no idea. Didn't get busted doing that, luckily. Yeah. That's one thing I'm afraid of is like we're looking at getting like electric cars in the future, like Teslas, and they're very fast. Like even like a slow Tesla can like take most like cars off the line. Like, most of them are like Even like slower ones are like 0 to 60 in 3.5. Then you can get like the Plaid Model S, which can go 0 to 60 in like less than a second. Like I think it's 1 point, maybe 1.9, and then they have like the new Roadster that they've been talking about for 10 years. They can go in like 0.9 or some like sub 1 second. But yeah, I have 27 points, and they won't even look at you if you have more than 20. I need 19 or less to have consideration to restore my driveway. That doesn't make any sense. It seems like at a certain point, you've gotten older, you're wiser, you're more responsible. Those things should go away. That's just what I never understood. It's like, how do you expect someone to grow and do the right thing if you don't allow them the ability to do the right thing? Like, that's one of the things, like when felons who can't vote or own firearms or all the weird things, like the rights that you lose if you become a felon or whatever. It's like, then like to me, like if you can't be trusted with the general rights of the public, then you shouldn't be released. If they're going to release you, then they should give you all your rights back. Like if you can't be trusted with those rights, then don't release you. No, don't release them. That's how I look at it. And I know that's a controversial take, but like, like if you're releasing of even a violent felon, and you're not, and if you release them and they make it through parole and all that stuff, and they're released from that, they're no longer under the charge of the state, then they should have all of their rights restored. If you don't think they can be trusted with that, then don't release them. If you haven't rehabilitated them, then don't let them out. That's the way I look at it. If you're releasing them, they should get all their rights back. And I know that's controversial, but yeah. Andy, have a great birthday party. I hope it's wonderful. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's where we'll end that today. That kind of thing does make me irritated because it's such a weird thing. Like, it just frustrates me because it's like you want someone to be a functioning member of society, and when someone makes mistakes and then you don't allow them over time to have the ability to show you that they're not making those mistakes anymore, then you're just creating issues that cause them to go further the other way. It's like, Shannon and I've talked about it before, like the welfare programs and the things for like single parents that have, single parents that are raising, that are trying to get on their feet and get off of social services. As soon as soon as you get a job that disqualifies you for social services, it's not a weaning process, it's a stop process. So as soon as you get a job, and that's what social services are really entailed to do, is get you employed. But it seems like then they would be like, okay, you're employed for so long, then we'll start to pull back. Like then you should start to pull back the social services. Like, the first couple of months, say like there's a 3 month period where they stay the same, even though you have a job. So then you're building up a cushion there to where you can be a functioning member of society and pay all your bills. Cause then you're probably getting into the ability to pay for an apartment and car and insurance and healthcare on your own. And all those things that you were getting, as a part of the social services are now coming out of your paycheck. And now, as soon as you get that job, they just cut everything off. If they would do something like a 3 month full services, in the next 3 months, it's 75%. Maybe that's like over the course of a year. Then you have the opportunity to start getting yourself on your feet super steady to where you're not in a situation that as soon as they pull those back, then you lose your car, then you lose the job, and then you're back on social services again. I just think that there should be a more humane way of handling these issues instead of going, well, you have a job now that pays X amount, so now you don't qualify for these services, so we're cutting them off. Instead of, okay, we understood you've been on social services for X amount of time. You have a job, so we're gonna work with you for the first 3 months of this job. Then we're gonna start to pull back the social services, and then as the next 3 months after that, we'll pull them back a little bit more after a year. Then we can totally pull them all the way back, and then we've got a situation where somebody is set up to be more. Then they're set to be successful. They're not then reliant on the state anymore, And that's truly what we want. If we truly want people to be successful and rehabilitated, whether they're in prison or in jail or whatever, drug offenses. I mean, do we want them to get better? Do we want them to be criminals? What do we want? What do we want from society? How do we better society? And I think if we're actually going to have social services in play, then we should be utilizing them in a way that is constructive and ensures that people stay successful. The same way that we do with a with a lifestyle switch like keto, carnivore, Weight Watchers, whatever it is you want to do. So yeah, I think that's my diatribe for the day. But a speeding ticket from when you were 18 in 1983 on your record. That's bananas. That's absolutely bonkers. And if you lived in New York City, it wouldn't be an issue because there's transit, there's taxis, there's all that stuff. You can literally get around. But anywhere like in Indiana, like where we live, urban sprawl is a thing, and it's just not conducive to getting around unless you have all the money for an Uber, or even with a bicycle, you can't get across town in like under 2 hours or whatever. Anyway, it's considered that the system is game to imprison certain people easier than others. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like we want people to be successful? Do we want people to be viable member of society, or do we want people to be victims? I don't what is it that we want? So anyway, with that, um, yeah. Let's see. Evelyn says, "Do we have any keto friends in Mansfield, Ohio area traveling here today?" I don't honestly know, but if there are, reach out to Evelyn. Um, my wife ended up homeless, raising her two younger brothers at 18 due to a horrible family, living in their car. When she got a job that took all support, she had to work multiple just to make. That's my thing. Is like, if somebody's raising children and they get a 9 to 5 job or whatever kind of job they get, and they break that threshold of of the whatever it is, how many kids you have and all that stuff. You break that threshold, and then it should be an easing process, a year, something like that, like 75% and then 50% and then 25%, and then they cut it off, and then and maybe you should have an ability to file for an extension. Here's my circumstances. I'm still trying to do this. I have these issues, because then you're paying for childcare. If you're a single parent, you're paying for childcare. If you don't have any family, that right there, like I know people who work just to pay for childcare. Like their spouse makes enough to cover everything else. They work to cover childcare and have insurance for everybody. That's their sole reason to have a job. And in that case, you know that childcare is too expensive. And childcare should be expensive. Not okay, it should be affordable, but the person who is doing the childcare should be fairly compensated because dealing with children, especially in those quantities, is difficult. I have one kid 5 days a week, and she drives me bananas. It's the best bananas, but she still drives me bananas. I couldn't imagine having 6 to 8 to 10 kids trying to wrangle them all. That's my take on it. I just want to say thank you all so very, very much for being here today. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I'm trying to reach 5,000 subscribers. I have all you lovely members who help support this channel, help all of this possible. Thank you all so very, very much. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. We will see you Tuesday, Chandra and I. Thank you all so much for being here today and spending your Sunday with me, having your coffee. I truly do appreciate it. And with that, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And again, like I said, we'll see you Tuesday.